Hello, fight fans. It's John Pollock here alongside Jimmy Corderas as we are looking ahead to WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up this Sunday in Boston. And the Money in the Bank concept, originally born out as just something on the side for WrestleMania and kind of creating your next big challenger, big star throughout the year. And now its own pay-per-view. Do you like it on its own rather than a part of WrestleMania, which is how it was introduced?
Actually, I kind of like it as its own pay-per-view. Having one match on the pay-per-view would have been fine. Obviously, circumstances right now dictate that we have a championship match in a traditional Money in the Bank match. So, yeah, I'm okay with it.
We look to the main event, and it is going to feature a new champion being crowned, as they will have 8 men in this version of the Money in the Bank ladder match. This, you kind of have to work backwards here, because at least the current working plan right now is Brock Lesnar headlining SummerSlam against the champion. So what's the best route to get there? If you are putting this match together, Jimmy, who makes the most sense to put that championship on this Sunday?
Well, if you look at all the 8 competitors in there, I know people are clamoring for people like Cesaro, Bray Wyatt, all the young guys. Too soon for all of them. The only logical choices, in my mind, Randy Orton and John Cena. John Cena has had battles with Brock Lesnar, and great battles in the past, and those two can get really physical at SummerSlam over the championship. And, you know, Cena losing to Brock Lesnar wouldn't hurt either man, that's for sure. Randy Orton, you can set up a whole new program now. The Brock Lesnar guy, the Paul Heyman guy, beats one of Triple H's guys. If Randy Orton is the champion, now you got another rivalry building up between Heyman's stable and Triple H's.
Yeah, I like the idea of John Cena. I think that it's the safest bet to go with. I think if you're looking, Brock Lesnar costs a lot of money when you use him on a pay-per-view or a special, whatever you want to call it. So you have to have the most marketable match that's going to make that kind of money. And I think John Cena is someone they're comfortable putting there. Roman Reigns, it's just, he hasn't had that kind of big build. Like, this is someone you could base the next 9 months of booking around to put that championship on and to have him win the title. And theoretically, I wouldn't want Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar to lose this soon at this point. It's not a match, I think, that makes sense to do this early. So I'm with you. I think John Cena makes a whole lot of sense going into SummerSlam. Then we look to the other Money in the Bank match, which will be the briefcase, the winner of which will have the chance to fight for the title sometime over the next year. This one, I think you can do more debating with. Of course, you have Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Do these two simply cancel each other out and we go with a wild card pick, or does it come down to one of those two?
I think those two should cancel each other out. Just like in the other Money in the Bank match, too soon for both competitors. They haven't had their rivalry yet. I mean, people could argue that they could have their little rivalry over a briefcase. I don't like that. I mean, if once you win the briefcase, why would you put it up? It makes no sense to me. So I would look down the card. I understand putting Ziggler in the match because he's going to give you your holy you-know-what moments. Kofi Kingston, obviously, for his great spot. My pick would be Wade Barrett, depending on what happens coming out of SmackDown, where he apparently suffered a shoulder injury. Whether he's going to be in the match or not, we don't know.
Yeah, apparently he separated his shoulder on Tuesday night, so he's at least a question mark for Sunday. He would be, if you're not going the Rollins or Ambrose direction, he seems to be the only logical pick because, with all due respect to Jack Swagger, he is essentially just a body to fill up a spot in this match.
But even if it's just a separated shoulder and it isn't too serious, you can kind of work around that a little bit. I mean, obviously he won't maybe not have him in the match at the beginning, you know, have everybody crash and burn throughout the match. You know, Spirit of 76, he comes down with his arm in a sling, climbs a ladder solo, picks the title, picks the briefcase.
Everyone's just laid out, and he makes his way from the back and then announces he's got some bad news. He was never taken out of this match, and he takes the briefcase, and you can cash it in once he's healthy.
Works for me.
Lots of different booking scenarios, and that's why Money in the Bank is always kind of a fun show to kind of armchair and look at. It's coming up Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on pay-per-view. Immediately following it, we will be running through the show on Live Audio Wrestling, on TSN 1050 Toronto, and liveaudiowrestling.com. So tune in, and we'll chat about it next week.